Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. I made this a late night for all of us, and I'm a little numb, so I apologize if I'm not as eloquent as I usually am. But lacking sleep and unknown fumes. But I really wanted to start by thanking the guys that we had on the roster that went out, and IT, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, Jay Crowder, and especially Iman Shumpert and Channing Frye, whose careers had championships written on them with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And so those two are very special to us as well. And we wanted to thank them for their contributions to the Cavaliers and the organization. And I just wanted to acknowledge them. With these trades, and I'll open it up for questions afterwards. I think it's obvious that the goal was to get younger. I felt we got more talented. We certainly got more athletic. And I think we got more sustainable into the future. But I think in large part, we addressed the culture of the team and the building. And I imagine a lot of people on the conference call have been around our team, saw the lack of energy and enthusiasm. And that was just really disappointing to me. And so I think in large part, I'm really excited about the new guys we have. And I'm really excited about what they're going to bring to the table. I think we're going to be energetic, and we're just going to be fun again, and fun to watch and fun to be around. And we're super excited about the guys we're bringing in. Think about George Hill, his experience. He's battle tested. I think he's an excellent fit with the team in terms of his two-way. He's a two-way guy. Spot shooter, can also make a play. Larry Nance Jr., how cool is it for him to come home? The kid was in borderline tears when I called him today. He's ecstatic to be a part of it. He's going to be a core piece for us moving forward. Basketball IQ, athleticism, work ethic. Again, a cultural piece that we're excited about. Jordan Clarkson, super talented scorer, ball handler. Another piece for now and into the future. And then Rodney Hood, who's a dynamic two-way player with great size. He can really swing a game for you, and he can close a game for you. And we're excited to add him as well. So we added some talent, some athleticism. And again, I think the overwhelming thing for us was to create a culture here that I think everyone wants to be a part of. And the building was absolutely excited today. And so I think this trade really put some wind in our sails. And with that, Tad, I'll open it up for questions.
Hey, Koby, it's Tom Withers.
Tom?
Hey, thanks, Koby. Hey, you said you're numb. How surprised are you were able to pull all this off? Do you have were your intentions going in to get as much done as you got done?
It's interesting. You start planning for all this stuff, and you have certain concepts. You go down the path with the team, you get shut down, you go back to the drawing board. We had some real momentum with a couple of these deals going into late last night, and I was up till about 3 o'clock in the morning still sort of negotiating what these things look like, down to the very last hair of some of these deals. And you don't realize it as you're doing it, but you knew you had to. If you're going to do one thing, you know you need to address another thing. And so we were very cognizant of that. Did you ever think you'd get this much done? No. And you don't know what it's going to mean for your team. But I do know that we're going to be a lot more athletic. We're youthful, and we're just excited about the guys we added.
And if I could follow up quickly, you mentioned the culture and the chemistry. When did it become clear to you, Koby, that had to change immediately?
So that's a long process of just being around the team having a pulse of what's going on, doing your intel collection with various staff members, coaches, players, and for me, I think we wanted to be patient and we wanted to see this thing work out, and we were excited about what we had at the beginning of the season on paper. The depth and the experience and the talent level. But we were really worried that what was going on the floor and sort of our culture in the building, that we were going to march. We were marching a slow death, and we didn't want to be a part of that. And so, with the window we have, with LeBron and with this team, we figured now is the time to do something to re-energize the group, but also have some sustainability going into the future. And
thank you, Koby.
We tried to address that.
Koby, David,
Koby, it's Joe Martin.
Joe,
when did it be? Hey, man. Hey, when did it become clear to you that you needed to move on from IT?
It's not something I wanted to do, and certainly when you bring a player the caliber of IT back in a trade this summer, who was a big part of that trade, selfishly, you really wanted to see it work. And he did an incredible amount to get himself back into playing condition, and he did a wonderful job doing that to get himself back off of a major injury. And so, kudos to what he did for us and for him to come back. You have to figure out fit, and my former boss David Griffin was huge about fit, and is it the right fit? And we had a chance to really look at that over the past month or so and address that fit. And with LeBron, I was ready to put around some more shooting, some more athleticism, some younger pieces that we had control of into the future as well. So these were opportunities that came about that I thought could address both.
Thank you, Koby. Dave McMenamin here.
Hey, Dave.
How does these moves today make you evaluate the Kyrie Irving trade this summer?
Good question. Again, right, you make a trade and you want it to succeed like anything else. I think that the level of value that we got back in the Kyrie Irving trade was pretty good. Did it fit? Did it work? Probably not. And so with those pieces, we decided to shuffle the deck and get younger, and get some youthful talent in here, with energy and enthusiasm, great cultural pieces that I want to be a part of. My former coach that I work for, his name's Kyle Smith, who was at Columbia and he's now at San Francisco. He'd always talk about, we want fountains, not drains. And that's what I need to bring in. I need to bring in fountains. And I think that's what we did. So I think, with those pieces we got in Boston, we were able to use that with value to get some of these what I call fountains. They're going to add to the excitement of the building and add to the culture I'm trying to establish.
Koby, Terry Pluto, I was really fascinated on the Rodney Hood thing, because that was one that sort of, wasn't rumored or whatever. How did that come about?
Again, my job is to canvass the league and look for opportunity and see what's out there and see what can fit. Everybody, would like to do the blockbuster, huge name deals, but there are some really talented guys that can help your team that might not be well known around the league, especially some of these guys. You think about these guys on the West Coast, you don't have to see them as much. They're a little more under the radar. But we've always been pretty interested in Rodney Hood. He's a dynamic talent. He's a 6'8" two guard, and that's just not normal. He's a lefty, so he's unorthodox. He's hard to guard. He can move his feet. He can defend. And so when we found out that a kid of that level of talent's on the market, we definitely wanted to explore it and see what we can do there. And he just fits with what I was trying to do in the whole scope of things.
And the other follow-up question is, I thought Wade actually played fairly well for you, and to see him go to Miami, what was the thinking there?
A few things there. As I started to get closer to deals bringing back youthful wings that I wanted to see play right away, I realized that this is going to be a role for Wade where minutes are going to be reduced and reduced and reduced. The other part about that, too, is our rookie, Cedi Osman, who has injected what I'm talking about in terms of energy and enthusiasm and playing hard and a cultural piece. He's infectious to the locker room and his play on the floor. And I want him to play, and I want him to develop. And when I saw the pieces we're bringing back and the recent play from Cedi Osman, I said, is this fair for Dwayne? Is this something that he signed up for? And so, we explored that with Miami. I wanted to make sure that I talked to LeBron about that, because Dwayne did come in large part because of LeBron and the situation here. And we wanted to give Dwayne the option. Do you want to, you want to be a part of this? No one's telling you have to go by any means, but we want to give you a chance to go home. And I think him and his representation was very, very appreciative of that.
Hey, Koby, it's Chris Fiedler.
Hey, Chris.
Why do you think fun was an obstacle for this group, and why do you think the culture started to deteriorate?
It's a great question. I don't know, it's interesting with that second unit where we were sort of 18-1 and free-flowing with Korver and Channing, and lots of three balls were going up and spacing, and it was a lot of three balls. That just was fun, and that's been Cavaliers basketball for a large part since I've been here. A lot of it is on me in terms of the roster I constructed originally to start the season, and it just didn't fit. And maybe I needed to have more spacing. Maybe I need to have more athleticism. I think that when we constructed the roster, or we can go way back when we started this thing with a big three, that sort of carried through. And because of the big three and the salary cap implications, you're usually adding older veterans. And in this day and age in the NBA, and gosh, has it changed so fast, you need everyone to be a live body. And it's not fun when you're getting beaten down the floor for layups, and you miss a three ball and it turns into a layup. You get a turnover, it turns into a layup or a three. And that's demoralizing. That's not fun. And so I needed to put a lot more live bodies out there and be way more active and quicker to the ball, and still scoring. And hopefully we return to some of that fun that you asked about.
And to follow up,
hey, Koby,
do you feel like the identity of this group moving forward is now going to be closer than to what it was the last 3 years?
I sure hope so, Chris. I really do. I think we're going to get rejuvenated LeBron James, and that's the key. This guy is so good; he dictates outcome, and that was the hardest part for me, seeing him. And I don't want to say he didn't believe in this group. And I want to be careful in saying that, because he's going to compete every night. And he's going to try to get whatever team he's on to the finals. But I wanted to see a renewed sense of joy in him, and being around him the last 24 hours has been great, and I think he's excited, and I can see a renewed sense of joy in him, when he's in the building, and we'll see that translate to some fun basketball, because he's the key. He's the guy that is going to take us back to the promised land. So you want to put the right pieces around him.
Jeff, from the how do you think these trades then will affect LeBron with his future here?
Obviously, we want LeBron to be here long term. I know that he's committed to this team, and he'll be committed to these new players. I know for a fact that he's excited about each addition. This is a basketball savant and also a basketball junkie. And when you talk to him about these guys, some of the guys I talked to him about before we made these transactions, he knows their games ins and outs. Like, these are West Coast players that are playing on a different time zone, and because Bron's up late night watching NBA League Pass, he's telling me their strengths and what they'd add to the team and why he's excited about these pieces. And at that time, they're potential pieces. So it's kind of fun to deliver on that, to know that LeBron's excited about these new guys. And, we'll see. I also know that we're more sustainable going into the future with younger guys.
Koby, Kenny wrote at WHBC along those lines. Obviously, you want LeBron to stay. You're doing what you can maybe to make him feel better about it. But I'm guessing there's that plan B just in case. Do you feel you addressed that plan B by getting younger should the worst case scenario happen?
Doran, obviously, you're locked into this season and addressing what you can to get yourself over the hump. But knowing that you have a Jordan Clarkson on locked up, and you have Larry Nance still on rookie scale, you still have G Hill under contract, you have Kevin under contract. We think we set ourselves up for a level of sustainability that's great, and obviously we have hopefully a valuable draft pick that we can bring in. We have Jetty Osman, who's part of our future and our core, and we just feel like we have a healthy franchise right now.
Hey, Koby, this is Spencer Davies from Basketball Insiders.
Hey.
Okay, I just wanted to gauge your thoughts on one, what Coach Lou was thinking of the deals, and two, your confidence in him, basically just invigorating these guys into there.
Sure, and just like it's been a tough year for everybody in terms of, we're all disappointed in our production on the floor. For myself, to T. Lou, to the players, this is not sort of what we envisioned. And to sort of see the players' eyes light up with some of these deals, it's great to see some of the coaches' eyes light up with some of these deals. T. Lou is tremendously excited about this new roster, and I heard I wasn't on the team playing because I'm still in Cleveland. We were working through all these trades. That they were working feverishly on the plane to try to figure out new lineups, and it was a very, very fun exercise from what I can understand. So, I think he's excited, rejuvenated, and has some new tools to use, and we're going to be fun, athletic, and I think exciting to watch.
Koby, it's Joe again. There's 29 games left. Is that enough time to pull this together? And is the goal still the goal that you had when the year began, as far as getting back to the finals and winning?
Absolutely. Why we decided to do what we did now. Now is the time, and I think what's interesting is we have a chance to come back from the All-Star break. I think, like I told you, let the dust settle, regroup, come back as a team, have a couple days of practice, The games start coming at a feverish pace, so it's not the 2 days off like we were used to. But we'll figure it out, and we got some younger guys that will practice, and these guys are pros, and hopefully we can create some sort of pace and continuity. Hard part is, Kevin's going to have to come back and figure it out with the new guys. But with guys with basketball IQ that play hard, have a common goal, and are about the right things, we hope that they can figure it out.
And then, can you help us with some structural stuff as far as when do you expect them to join the team, and when do you expect these guys to play?
So these guys will meet us in Atlanta. We actually traveled our docs, so they will be able to do physicals and clear them, hopefully. And I doubt that they'll be able to play tomorrow night. Let's hope that we can expedite the situation, but depending on which trade you're talking about, there's another team that has to also clear it as well.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Koby, it's Dave again. I'm curious about what negotiation's the right word, but what the conversation like with Dan Gilbert in order to add, I've seen upwards of, it's going to be $50 million in luxury taxes this year to make these deals, and what the measurements were to consider that worthy investment.
Great question. I'm tremendously thankful to Dan and his support and his willingness to invest at such a deep level for now and into the future is really remarkable, and it's at an unprecedented level now. It really speaks to how much he cares and how much he wants to win. And people speculate all the time about how hands-on he is and how much he's involved. And it's funny to me because I asked, if you had a $2 billion franchise, would you be hands-off and be at a distance? I don't think you would be either. He's a part of the process, and what's great with him is to keep him informed. You have your ideas. You're trying to push deals to the finish line, but he's involved in that process, so he knows what's going on. And I'm not bringing up things to him at the 11th hour. And different things fall off or different parts of the deal change. He understands the aspect of the deal because I've been keeping him abreast of the whole thing. But he's been tremendously supportive. He's been collaborative. He's been helpful. Obviously, he's super successful, so he thinks outside the box and gives me negotiation strategies sometimes. I mean, he's a remarkable partner in this, and I'm very fortunate to have him as an owner. But in terms of this trade deadline, I was working the phones and trying to put these deals together, and obviously keeping him informed of the process. But he was again supportive of us and let us do our thing.
Koby, Kenny Rhoda again. How much better do you feel right now, even though they haven't played for you yet, on paper, the moves you made about defending the Eastern Conference championship you won last year? A lot better, a little better, as you look at this roster now compared to what it was yesterday?
Tough to know until I see it on the floor. I can tell you I feel much better about us culturally. I feel much better about the air in the building. That sort of stuff you can't quantify, but I do know that it matters. And so as I'm trying to leave my mark or put my stamp on this franchise, that's a big deal for me. And I want everyone to feel really good when they walk into the building. And so I don't know how you quantify that, but I'm excited about that. And then I'll have to see how it starts to work on the floor before I can answer, do I feel better or worse about getting to a championship. It's really, really hard. People think you can roll out of bed, and because you have LeBron James, you just get there. It's really, really hard to win at that level and stay at that level. And so I'm trying to do what we can to inject some life and try to get us there, but I don't know until I see it.
Fair to say that you had to do something to get back there and not stay the course?
Again, I'm a patient guy, and like to step back and look at the whole picture, give things time to work and gel. But yeah, I would say with the window that we had and the opportunities that we had, I thought it was the right time. Now, if these opportunities don't present themselves and we couldn't do anything like this, your best option is to, okay, let's see what we can do to change internally. But these opportunities presented themselves, and we felt that we had to act.
Okay, guys, we have time for one more question.
Koby, Hayden Grove here. This, for you, was your first time really at the helm of this thing at the trade deadline. You've obviously watched Griff go at it before. What was this experience like for you, and who did you lean on during this process? You mentioned Dan, and I'm sure you had others that you were, talking to throughout this process.
Our group has been unbelievable, and I couldn't have done it without them. My assistant general manager, Mike Gansey, was with me every step of the way. So Brock Aller, who's a strategist and a capologist, and coming up with very creative ideas. John Nichols, who's our head of analytics, and really diving deep with every name that came up and how's it work. And Jason Hillman, who's our in-house counsel, that's sort of working to secure these deals and push them through to the finish line. And Michael Hartman, who's part of our analytics team. We even had our pro personnel staff come in, and we had Bernie Bickerstaff there, who's had 50 years in the NBA. And we tried to make it really inclusive. We tried to let everyone have their say and try to do the best we could. And obviously Dan was largely supportive and involved in the process the entire time. So just a really inclusive trade deadline for us in terms of my staff and giving everyone a voice. But those guys I relied on a ton. And, to get 3 trades done in the timetable you do, you really need to rely on a staff like that. And they helped me for sure.